requests for beers, and I've done requests for the girls in the background. And this time, it is a request for a location. In the middle of chatting with a couple of guys, Steve Bush wanted to know what I was up to, and today I just happened to be upgrading the security precautions here in the man cave area, and he said, "Do a brew review standing in front of the safe so I can see what it looks like." There you go, Steve. That's what it looks like. What are we looking at today? I guess you're looking at me and a few guns, as opposed to a scantily dressed beer chick or flag chick, but oh well. I'm sure you can just close your eyes and conjure something up. Like Travis would be going, Heffy. We're looking at Doomtree from Surly. It's made right here in Minnesota, and it's 5.71% by volume, and it comes in a can, so I can't show you the awesome bottle top. When it came to picking out a safe, probably due to this particular scenario, the biggest issue was size and weight. Like you guys that have gun safes, I don't need to tell you this, but if you buy a gun that says that it's a 30 gun, which this one is, you'll be real lucky to even make half of that. Right now there's right now there's 11 rifles in there, which means 7 did not get a home. So I'm sorry guys, but if you didn't make the cut, there's a reason. There could actually be another one right there, but there needs to be a defined line between the JP and everything else. So yeah, so what makes up the cost of a safe? Fire rating. This one has a half-hour fire rating, and it's supposed to be waterproof. Okay, it has kind of an amber brown, decent amount of pillowy head. Has kind of an English kind of a bitter and almost like a coffee caramel kind of smell to it. Cheers. This one's gonna be kind of a late one. It's been a pretty busy day. I roped one of my friends in. He had a dolly that can handle 600 pounds, and this goes like 440 to help me get it in. And as a matter of fact, as we were pulling it out of, I put it in my truck and then stuck it in the garage, thinking it might be a couple weeks before I could find some poor bastard that wanted to give me a hand. And in the process of sliding it out of the garage onto the dolly, my other neighbor came over and gave us a hand, and we got it down to the basement. And I had it in one location, and I was just like, I don't think I like that location. Unfortunately, to get it in here, you're talking about a doorway within a half of an inch of the dimension of that. And me and Christine managed to get it from one end of the basement through across the basement and into what this used to be the coal room, which is why originally I wanted to put a door on this, but this just worked out much faster. And the event that you move, well, technically speaking, in the middle of a move, you will probably decide if it's worth trying to get the 440-pound box out of the basement or just possibly sell it with the house. Cheers, guys. Well, Nancy, right here in the fine state of Minnesota, we're making up a bunch of beer that I really thought was going to be kind of hoppy. And it's kind of like an English bitter. Yeah, a little bit of a blast of yeah, just close the door and get in. Find out how airtight that thing is. Okay, not funny. Let me out. I know you're like, screw that. Where's the chick? A little bit of a, almost like a citrus start is going to go on. And then it kind of goes right into a dry bitter. But the whole time, the flavors are just coming on. Like bitter, but kind of a caramel, earthiness to it. I mean, not like a like a roller coaster like flavor, just kind of like a boom. Here we are, flavor. It's funny. Little side story. Actually, the reason that this kind of happened is it's going through one of my local. I don't know how widespread they are. I've never done the research. It's called Menards. It's a hardware store like Lowe's or Home Depot, and I've looked at this model before. It's $850, and this particular one, I guess they put on a truck. I don't know if they got it to somebody's house and they saw a dent on the back of it and said, I don't want it, so it got brought back to the store, or if I think it was actually at someone's house because it was missing. I needed to put a shelf on the ARs on this side. The ARs on this side are the shorter ones, and I had to put the shelf about 4 inches up so that the barrels would get captured by the top mechanism, and it was missing the little shelf brackets for that. I mean, it came with you could make this whole side a series of shelves if you wanted, and it didn't come with anything but these 4 brackets. So I'm guessing it was in someone's house, and then they ended up returning it, and they didn't return everything. So they had it marked from $850 to $650, and evidently, I don't know. They made it sound like the stickers were all screwed up, but basically, it was their screw up. So it turned into my lucky day. It went from $849, $850 to $650, $80 off because of the dent on the back. And my friend Steve spent I don't know how long before I'm like, it's right there. And he's just like, oh. So they took $80 off from $650, the $80 off, and on top of that, it's still qualified for a $100 mail-in rebate. So gonna ended up being $515 out the door with that mail-in rebate, and I figured for something like this, I couldn't pass it up. So just doing this for you, Steve. I guess technically speaking, Ray asked if I had done a video on it first. So I don't know if this qualifies or not, Ray. The least impressive thing, and I think other companies might, I mean, I'm not 100% sure if you got other options for door panels. They got these Velcro things here, which are kind of intended to put a gun in, but unless it's a fairly light gun, I just didn't like the way that they were acting in there. This middle section, which looked like it was pretty much only good for shotgun shells, and then they've got these like baskets at the bottom, which actually held a gun pretty nicely. So I put a couple of the ones with the flashlight in them, if you wanted to grab them. And of course, as usual, most of the pistols are loaded and ready to go. And then some mags down below. The one thing that was kind of fun was the revolvers, just because they're all so damn long. So I actually put the 454 Casull, the 686, and the 44 Magnum Vaquero in that little pocket for that the shelf that I made, so that the shorter carbine length ARs would work out. Other than that, this particular one is a 5-pin. It's got the 3 pins at the back that are stationary, and then it's got the 5 that rotate, and it's a electronic lock. I really like the way they do the door. From about the halfway point, it'll swing and close on its own, and from the halfway point this way, it'll swing and stay all the way open. And yes, Ray, it's got the hinges on the outside, so the door will obviously completely open. So I just feel a lot better now, knowing that if the house is, and this was something I give like credit to Such. He did a video recently, had a break-in and a robbery, and no matter, it doesn't matter if you're in a good part of town or a bad part of town, probably I would say the smart thief, which I don't know, it's debatable if they are, you're going to see more break-ins in the good part of town, because why would a thief want to break into a shithole? But Such's video got me thinking, and it got me a lot more paranoid, because I was using the just hide shit all over the place technique. So no matter where you are in the house, you are within 2 or 3 steps of a loaded gun, and that operation is still going good and strong. It's just I kind of revised it from instead of a fairly rare Smith & Wesson 1006 laying on a shelf someplace ready to go. Now there's a Glock in that spot. So I don't know. It's like gun chat with alcohol versus alcohol and gun chat. It's got a nice earthy, almost that English bitter is what keeps coming to mind. English bitter, kind of a maltiness to it. This came in a 4-pack. There's 3 more, which I'll probably move on to. It's already 10 p.m. my time, so this will be a later one. Oh well, sorry Chuck. You have to stay out a little bit later. Just means an extra diaper, and you're good to go. Yeah. I don't know. I'm just going to show you how you can take the rifle out. Lift up a little, tilt it forward, and she's out. Good to go. Yeah. Yeah, prepping and guns. You weirdo. Yeah, you're right, fuckhead. This is a 308. Grab your beer and run. Yeah, I did not get to go out and get shooting today. Obviously, really busy working on stuff around the house. Not to mention, we hit a high today of, I think it said 49, and I certainly don't think that was, what in the hell? That was anywhere near me. And tomorrow it's supposed to be even worse, so the JP will not get to get out and play. But hey, yeah, that was just a public service announcement, just to show you how to properly put the firearm in the safe, and maybe even get it back in there. There, see, just something just like that. Okay, on the E scale, it's not bad. It's a nice change of pace from something that would just be like a huge in your face kind of a hot bomb. It's got some good flavors. So, where do I put it on the E scale? I'm gonna give Doomtree from Surly. I'm gonna give this guy an 8. It's not too bad. There's a whole novel on the back too, if you really give a shit. Which I left that out in the truck. Sorry. That was the other thing since we last talked. Got a few new vehicles in the arsenal, and a couple that are probably going to be up for sale. So if you want to stop on up and you're interested in a Chevy Blazer or a Chevy Silverado, just let me know. I don't recommend the Silverado unless you live in, say, Arizona, where the humidity percent is like little to none, because, and I've had several people try to help me, so trust me when I say I have heard it all. I have been to all of the blogs. Chevrolet seems to have an Achilles heel with the 4.3 liter V6 in my pickup truck, and it's in my pickup truck, not the 4.3 liter, because our 2001 Chevy Blazer has a 4.3 liter V6 in it, and I have not done a legitimate tune-up in that vehicle in almost 5 years. Runs like a top. The Silverado, on the other hand, if a frog lets a wet fart in front of you and you were to drive through the frog wet fart vapors, the wetness from the frog's fart gets into the distributor and starts to cause chaos inside. And if you decide, screw you, distributor man, and just keep driving it, it will eventually leave you on the side of the road. I was a block away from my mechanic when it happened, and they towed it over. And later that same day, they sent me a picture with the caption, "In 25 years of being a mechanic, I have never seen one like this. The inside was completely melted down. The rotor looked like a little gob of glue. And it's because moisture gets inside of the cap. There is service bulletins on it. Trust me, I have now tried. I am on my 3rd distributor. I mean, completely different distributor. An OEM. This one is a billet. Doesn't matter. Second to the last time that I had the cap and rotor changed in it, it was treated like a mud bog racer, and it was completely sealed around the base in silicone. And instead of going to shit after one bad rainstorm driving in it, it actually took 3 before it did the same thing. I've even gotten a few extra months out of it by drilling a hole in the cap of the top of the cap and squirting WD-40 in there, because WD stands for water displacer. Tomorrow, if there even is a tomorrow, we're going to be looking at lawn seat Kolsch. This is a Kolsch style from Great Lakes. One of my favorites, as a matter of fact, I had it this evening with dinner, was Kayak Kolsch from Lake Superior Brewers right here in the lovely metropolis known as Duluth, Minnesota. Sarcasm. So we're going to take a look at this one tomorrow. This one rings in at a 4.8% by volume. They recommend that you serve it as fucking cold as you can get it, and Paul from PA Brew News can shove the bottle up his ass. Paul, love you. Okay, I'm going to go probably have one more of these while I wait for the Samantha's boyfriend works at a liquor store. Winning. I know he's a really good guy, and he's like, what do you want me to bring over? I'm like, I don't care. Bring over some more damn Rolling Rock for all I care. So it'll be a surprise. We'll find out what that is. Otherwise, got some lawn maintenance to do tomorrow. And there you go, Steve. Sentinel. It's made by Stack-On. And funny thing is when I went over to grab some of those shelf bracket pieces, the guy that was running the checkout was actually running the forklift when I picked this up, and he goes, "You got that safe?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he goes, "Yeah, I think you scored a pretty good deal on it." And I go, "Yeah, I'm not going to argue with you." He goes, "I actually work at Gander Mountain too." I'm like, "Yeah." And I go, "So honestly, what do you think about Stack-On? Because I've had people, first of all, up until recently, I didn't even know that Stack-On made a legitimate safe. I've only seen their cabinets." And he said, I don't want to badmouth any other big names, but he said, I personally think that Stack-On beats at least 2 other brands, and those other brands probably sell a lot more safes just because of namesake. One of them actually was Liberty, that he said he'd take this over the Liberty any day. I'm like, well, okay, that's cool, that works out. So I guess I need to start putting some. I got to get my Hornet fixer. Hang on a second. So the first magnet to go on the new safe is the Hornet fixer magnet. Oh, it's not even official. There, now it's official. That's right. Hornet fixer for president. Personally, if it wasn't for the fact that this country, for the most part, is filled full of pathetic retard liberals, brain disease liberals, it is a serious problem. I think that we should start doing some medical research on it, because if you think that our founding fathers were a bunch of idiots, then you're a fucking retarded liberal. If you think that the best thing you can do is take from the wealthy and give to the poor, then you are a fucking libtard loser. If you think that redistribution of wealth is what is going to make this country great, then you too probably are a fucking retarded liberal. I'm sorry. Everywhere that liberalism has been tried, it has failed. And it is failing so big right now. You are seeing the repercussions of 40 plus years of libtard, fucking liberal loser bullshit going on right now. And Obama couldn't be more living proof of it. The Obamacare, our national debt, thank you, Obama. It's nice that you were busy chastising George W. Bush and thought it was just such a criminal, terrible thing that somebody would raise the debt so much. Well, please now explain to the American public how you single-handedly have spent more than every president, and yes, that would include George W. Bush, who I really didn't like that much either, combined. Obama, you can go fuck yourself. You are the biggest piece of shit ever. Oh, he was gonna join. He was gonna bring us all together. It was gonna be such a great thing. It was gonna be the most transparent administration in history. How about the biggest fucking joke in history? How about that? You know what? The Obama administration going completely to hell gets more cowbell. That's right. More cowbell. Personally, I think they would do way too much maintenance on Air Force One. I think they should really stop. I think they should see if they can make a transatlantic flight without any fuel. Or at least enough to get to the middle. Okay. Well, obviously, my attitude has gone completely to shit, so I'm going to give up before it gets, like, right. If it degrades another 50%, I will be where Mule Team 66 would start. Cheers, guys. I will see you tomorrow.